Hello and welcome back to the iGP Manager AOR League. Today we'll be racing in Turkey for the 7th round of this season. My name is Justin Sutton, and joining me once again, it's Alex Gillon.
Hello everyone. Yes, good to be back once again, and of course at a track that is no longer on the official calendar, so good to sit back, even if it's only in 2D top-down form.
That's right. Lots of people, lots of fans of this track. Specifically Turn 8, of course. Really looking forward to see how this one works out. A very different circuit compared to what we saw last time out in Monaco. Speaking of last time out, let's take a quick look at the standings to see how the championship is shaping up at the moment. It is Nicholas Morales who is leading the way with 94 points. Peter Mann now down in second position with 76 points after a bit of a mediocre race last time out in Monaco. Nicholas Carrasco, the Spain race winner, in third position, and Nicholas Navarro, Cesar Navarro, aka, also having a poor race in Monaco, slipping down. He didn't lose any positions, but he is now 9 points adrift of Carrasco. It was just 1 point between the two of them previously. And Valentin Cordier also scoring his first point on his debut last time out in Monaco, and also Chandler Saita gaining loads of positions, shooting his way up into the top 5 and ahead of Simone Fazzolari and Daniel Thomas and those guys. Jose Luis Navarro picking up his first podium as well last time out in Monaco. And speaking of Jose Luis Navarro, Alex, he is actually on pole position for today's race.
Yeah, incredible job in quali. I'm not sure if you mentioned it there, Justin, but of course he is the lead of the super soft tyres, only one of 4 on the super soft tyres. So a little bit of advantage over most of the field there, so it will be interesting, as always, how these strategies shake out during this race.
Yep, we're getting ready for the lights to go out now. Yeah, we're very, very close to the start of the race. But yeah, it is Jose Luis Navarro that leads the way as one of the 4 super soft runners. Spain race winner Nicholas Carrasco is the leading soft runner in 4th position with Pressy right behind him. Chandler Saita, who finished in 2nd position last time out in Monaco, he'll start from the 3rd row of the grid in 6th position with Cesar Navarro right behind him. Autosport, though, this is a big talking point. We even discussed this before the broadcast started. Autosport starting from 9th position as we get underway here in Turkey. And yeah, they're ahead of a number of soft drivers. So we'll see how that works out for them. They're holding on to that 9th place position for right now. Carrasco and Navarro losing positions, though. Unsurprisingly, Pressy moving ahead of Saita with those super soft tires and up into the top 4. As Jake Thompson loses a position to Cordier. It looks like he's going to lose another position to Dimier, so losing a couple of positions to the French managers. Daniel Thomas slipping down the order as well. And our championship leader, Nicholas Morales, who started from last spot on the grid, Alex, he has already made up 1 spot, but he is one of only 3 medium runners for today's race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the key thing here. We've got 3 different starting compounds of tyre. So that's going to be the key thing to keep an eye on. And as you said, keep an eye on Nicholas Morales, how he can make his way up through the field. Being our championship leader, you'd expect him to be pretty quick, I imagine. We expect to have one of the quickest cars and one of the quickest drivers now, just purely based on previous results. And as you said, gain 1 position off the start. So see if we can get past the next medium runner, and then after that, it's all about strategy.
Now, Nicholas Carrasco, I specifically pointed out as we were getting going, because he was the leading soft runner. He's now slipped down into 9th position, where Autosport used to be. They've actually gained 2 positions up into 7th now. I believe they overtook Coleman as well. I think Coleman was starting ahead of Autosport, but they've managed their way up into 7th position. They're now 3rd of the soft runners. Morales has not gained any more positions, and indeed is actually starting to slip back from Daniel Thomas, just having a little bit a look further down the grid. They're already out of DRS range. No DRS just yet. We're only on lap 2. And the DRS zone is after turn 10, so it's pretty late in the lap, so we'll be seeing it in just over 1 lap time. But Morales already slipping out. Fazzolari really doesn't seem to be threatening him, so I wonder, Alex, if those two are going to be on for 1 stop less compared to the rest of the field, potentially.
Yes, that is certainly possible. And I'm just looking at the gap here between the soft and super soft runners, or lack thereof, really. There's last count, there was only half a second. It's got up to 8 tenths now. Of course, this is the lap that they will get DRS. DRS is down the back straight only. So if Chandler Saita can just stay within DRS zone of the super soft runners ahead, that will help him a lot on his harder tyres. But a bit of a gap forming between Autosport and Cesar Navarro. I think they just use a little bit of boost there just to try and hold on to get the DRS. We'll also say the DRS is very powerful at this track. It's a long back straight, and DRS does help you out quite a lot. Even with these guys being slightly lower level as they started from a brand new account for this league. So expect them all to try and get some DRS, and I'm just seeing quite a lot of boost usage already, as has been the trend in this league. They've mostly all used quite a lot of boost at the beginning and left with very little to defend with at the end. So similar trend happening here. And just looking at the gap, it's 1.1 seconds between Chandler Saiter and Nicholas Pressey. Then so it looks like he isn't going to get DRS. Is he? Not quite, no. That does allow Cesar Navarro behind him to get DRS, who will probably pass him. Yes, bit of boost just to make sure of it. And oh no, he doesn't quite manage to get him actually. He must be all over him there. Bit of boost now, and he's finally passed him up into P5. And we'll be interested to see now what his fuel level is, because he was all over Chandler Saiter there. So let's see if he can just catch up on the super soft runners, whose tyres will start to go off very soon, I imagine. Super soft is very, very soft for this particular track.
Yeah, already starting on lap 4. Now, it is rather cold. It was 10 degrees Celsius when we started this race. It's actually since slipped down to 9 degrees Celsius, so it is very, very cool out there. So the Super Softs will probably hold up a little bit better than they would if it was extremely warm. But yeah, I'll tell you who else didn't pick up the DRS on that first lap with it active was Peter Mann. Just missed out on the DRS with Jose Luis Navarro, and he was coming under attack from Insaurralde, but he did not get that position in the end. Nicholas Pressey as well did pick up the DRS, but it looks like he's going to be under threat from Cesar Navarro here. Navarro is getting very, very close to the back of these super soft runners. Him and Saita really breaking away from Autosport, who are kind of leading the pack. They're coming under attack now from Nicholas Coleman, though, who is going to take P7 just with a bit of DRS there. No boost usage for Coleman on that DRS straight. It looks like he's used quite a bit of boost, possibly to close up to Autosport and pick up that DRS in order to make that overtake. But I didn't see him using any boost on that actual straight. So Coleman moves up into 7th, back up into 7th. Autosport slips down into 8th position. It's a very close battle, actually, here for 7th position, as Carrasco now deploying a bit of boost, trying to make his way past the Autosport car. But I have to say, Alex, at this point, certainly I think Navarro and Saita are probably quicker than the cars ahead. They really, really seem to be hassling the super soft runners now.
Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. I think the super soft must already be going off. And once again, once the tyres get more than 50% worn, we do see a bit of a drop off in the tyre performance. So, as you said, all over the back of the super soft runners now. So I expect them to be making their way through fairly soon, as their tyres will still be fairly fresh. This is quite a high tyre wear track. And Autosport's still just about in P8, literally inside of P9 here. So I'm not sure who's going to come out on top of this. It looks like just about Nicholas Carrasco does just about get ahead of Autosport. So back down to P9 now for them. But once again, much stronger showing for them here. And looks like we've got a lot of super soft runners pitting then, Justin, from the lead of the race. So that was indeed a very, very short first stint for them. So only, what was that, end of lap 5 they came in on. Very, very short. And just doing some maths in my head now. Would that mean potentially going to, yeah, they are going to the soft tyres. So probably 2 more stops after this, Justin?
Yeah, I think that's probably right. 5 and then 24 still to go. So yeah, 3 8-lap stints on the soft tires. That could work out for them. I'm just having a look at Cesar Navarro, who now finds himself directly behind his older brother, Jose Luis Navarro, staying out there for 1 lap longer compared to the other 3 super soft guys that all came into the pits. I should point out Daniel Thomas on the medium tires is now ahead of all 3 of those guys, Peter Mann, Insaurralde, and Pressey. And he's going to be fairly low with fuel as well right now, too. So I don't think he's going to be really holding them up. And actually, I think we're just about to catch Thomas making the overtake on Thompson. Yeah, with the benefit of DRS, does move past Jake Thompson. And meanwhile, Cesar Navarro takes the lead of the race as his brother Jose Luis is into the pits to get rid of his super softs at the end of lap 6, with 23 laps still remaining for this race here in Turkey. Cesar Navarro and Chandler Saita have spread out a little bit. It is still very close in this battle for what was 7th position and what is now for 3rd position. Coleman is now leading that train. And indeed, actually, the 2 Frenchmen, Cordier and Dimier, are closing up to the back of Autosport, looking to turn this 4-horse race into a 6-horse race. So it's tightening up for the final, what is currently the final podium position. But just looking a little bit further down, we saw Thomas make the overtake on Thompson. And Peter Mann actually has closed up to the back of Jake Thompson rather quickly there. I thought the lower fuel level might mean that the trio of Peter Mann, Franco Insaurralde, and Jose Navarro, I wasn't sure they were going to catch up to Thompson and Thomas this quickly, but here they are, Alex.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing there is a soft tyres already being quite worn, as we actually see Cesar Navarro coming into the pits then from his soft tyres. So he will be fitting another set of softs, I would guess. Yes, it is indeed. But the interesting point for me, Justin, during that first round of pit stops, that'll do, is Jose Luis Navarro went from the super soft tyres straight to the medium tyres. So he completely skipped the soft tyres, straight to the harder tyres. So clearly wasn't enjoying the high level of tyre wear that he experienced on the super soft tyres. So despite going one lap longer than the rest of the super soft runners, he actually managed to stay out one lap. Stay out one lap later, obviously, and then also switch into the medium. So potentially just one more stop then for Jose Luis Navarro. But we're expecting two more stops from the other super soft runners. And as you said there, Peterman closing up on the guys ahead, right behind Daniel Thomas now, 1.2 back at the last count. I think he must have used some boost because he looks quite a bit closer than that now. Yes, indeed, 0.7 back now, so he will get some DRS. Let's see if he can get past him down this long back straight. And these guys, DRS of course, isn't hugely powerful because they started on level 1 rather than when you're more experienced, you have better DRS, which makes it more powerful, of course. And didn't quite manage to get him there, but is all over the back of him. And oh, we're actually seeing there bit of boost wars. And Peterman does just overtake him. He decided didn't want to sit behind Daniel Thomas for another lap. He wanted to make use of his nice fresh tyres. Another couple of guys into the pits then. Nicholas Carrasco and who's that? Nicholas Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
So both those guys into the pits. So seeing a lot of them coming to the pits. I'm just trying to keep an eye on our championship leader here, Justin, who, where is he? He's right down in P15 still, actually, which is a big surprise. I thought even if he's going for a one stop, I thought after the first round of pit stops, he'd be there or thereabouts, but clearly struggling and maybe already regretting his strategy choice. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, Fazzolari as well too. I mean, now those guys could be on for a very quick stint on the softs towards the end of the race potentially. As we see Cordier actually make an overtake on Autosport. Autosport still has lots and lots of boost remaining. And I was going to mention this because Cesar Navarro has absolutely no boost remaining. He used the last of his boost to make the overtake on Daniel Thomas. And Chandler Saita is now into the pits, as is Autosport as well, too. So a couple more cars into the pits. But yeah, Cesar Navarro has completely drained his boost already. We're not even at 1/3 distance into this race, or we're right about 1/3 distance, and he's already used all of his boost. But we have been seeing that kind of as a trend in this first season of the AOR iGP League, with lots and lots of boost usage in the early stages of the race. I just noticed that it's actually very, very close in the battle for 8th position at the moment. Jake Thompson still out there on his first stint. He's still out there on a set of softs. I have to imagine that he's going to be coming into the pits this lap. I can't imagine that he's going to be staying out there for too much longer, because these softs are really going to be feeling that as Nicholas Pressey makes his way past him. I think that means Pressey's not going to get the DRS here, but you can see he's already so much quicker, pulling huge margin past Jake Thompson just in that short distance. So Nicholas Pressey makes his way past the very slow-moving Jake Thompson, and will we see him come into the pits this lap? Yes, we do. So it looks like he's going to be on for a two-stop strategy using soft tires for all 3 stints, as we've now got Cabanes and Cordier into the pits as well, and it looks like those two guys have both fitted Cabanes going for the softs, Cordier going for the mediums. So we're seeing very split strategies here.
Yeah, really interesting. And I think lap 10 is where I would have pitted personally. I would have gone soft till lap 10, another set of softs till lap 20, and then just 9 laps at the end. So that's a 10-10-9 split. And I did see Autosport did come into the pits after 9 laps. They've clearly decided to do their one shorter stint in the first stint, which is potentially why they were so quick. But that said, they are still up in P13, still got good pace, and they are now on very fresh tyres, of course. So I expect them to potentially make some more progress up from there. So slightly different strategy to the leaders, but only literally by 1 lap. So not a big deal from them. And as you said, Daniel Thomas there is actually still out on his medium tyres. And I was keeping an eye, as you were talking there, Justin, on Simone Fazzolari, who actually pitted on lap 10 from the medium tyres, which is a bit of a surprise. So clearly he just had no pace at all. He was behind Nicholas Morales, who is running longer, but just pitted the same time as the soft runners. So Simone Fazzolari really struggling for pace around this particular track. And Nicholas Morales into the pits then. Our championship leader has now come into the pits after lap 12. So I have to wonder, is he going to do an extra long stint now on another set of the mediums? He is putting some more mediums on. I wonder if he will make one more stop after this one, or this will be his final stop. 12. Yeah, I have to say, bit of an in-betweeny strategy this so far for Nicholas Morales. I'm not too sure what he's going to do, whether he's going to fuel a bit lighter. Decided that the heavy fuel wasn't working for him, so he's going to fuel a little bit lighter and then just really go for it on the medium tyres, or whether he's just fueled up right to the top to go to the end of this race. We will have to wait and see on that one. But either way, not a good performance from him, down in 15th place at the moment. Pretty much everyone has stopped now, apart from Daniel Thomas, who is now down in P5, just got overtaken by Nicholas Pressey. Expecting him to go, probably hope he doesn't pick this lap before I say that. Nope, he's not going to. Expect him to go to lap 15. Of course, a one stop would be to lap 15 and then 14 laps till the end. So that's a more common strategy and the one that I expected Nicholas Morales to take, but interestingly did not. But Daniel Thomas, anyway, having a good race so far, still up in P5, having not pitted yet.
Yep. As Alex said, the only person that has not been into the pits so far, and he is going to drop down quite a ways. It is very, very tight. You can see it's a less than a 2-second gap between Thomas and Saita, Carrasco, Cabanes, Navarro. Only 2.5, less than that actually now between Navarro and Coleman. Cordier is really not that far off, and Dimier as well too, really close as well. And Autosport is firmly involved in that as well. So I expect Daniel Thomas is going to drop down quite a bit. I expect some people still have 2 more stops to make, while probably the majority of people, let's look at the strategies one more time. Yeah, I think it's looking like the majority of the field has 1 more stop to make. Daniel Thomas also has 1 more stop to make, but he's currently in 5th position. So he could be on for a pretty good result here today. I don't think he's going to be threatening for the win of this race, as we now have Inceralde and Pressey into the pits at the end of lap 13. So that is very. So those were super soft runners. That's right. Those guys they're doing the 3 stop, at least we suspect. And that's going to actually drop them behind Autosport, which almost puts Autosport up into a points-paying position. Peter Mann could be on for a 3 stop, but remember he did the same number of laps as Inceralde and Pressey, and also fitted the soft tires. But look at the difference, actually, Alex. I think that's a really good talking point. Peter Mann, and compare Mann to Inceralde and Pressey. And now, obviously, Peter Mann is still out there on his first stop, but the gap between them at the moment is about 23 seconds. So it seems that Peter Mann's making much better use of what we suspect is a 3-stop strategy, as Autosport looking to move themselves up into a points-paying position. They're going to get the DRS off of Dimier, but Dimier is getting the DRS off of Cordier, and it looks like there's not going to be a change of position as they get to the end of that DRS straight. But Autosport are threatening a points finish here, Alex.
Yes, what a turnaround from them. Been a disappointing season so far. So if they could just sneak a point, they've got no points at the moment. If they could just sneak a point, that'd be a huge result for them. And looking like Peter Mann just coming out of the pits then, as you mentioned, Justin, one of our super soft starters, I should say, and probably going for a 3-stop. He did do nine laps on that last set of soft tyres, so I expect he'll do it's 14 laps left. So 14 is probably too long for a set of soft tyres, which he has gone back onto now. So I expect he'll do perhaps 7 laps on the soft tyres till the end. So quite light. He is looking fairly good at the moment. He has got some overtaking to do, though, if he is going to make this work. We have seen quite high tyre wear. The soft tyres are running out before the end of the two-stoppers stints. And Peter Mann using a little bit of boost just to try and get some DRS, which he's managed to do successfully on Nicholas Coleman there. Probably won't quite manage to get past him. Nicholas Coleman's tyres are only 6 laps old, so he's on the mediums, he's on the slower tyres, but they won't be completely worn out yet. And as we're seeing, who's that? Navarro into the pits. Trying to see which one on my screen. Cesar. Yep, that's the one. Thank you, Justin. Into the pits and just going to come out just behind Peter Mann, actually. So still a few seconds between those two. So it's really interesting. Peter Mann's currently leading 3 stoppers. We have got who's leading the 2 stoppers. Of course, we've got Chandler Saiter leading the 2 stoppers. And who was our 1-stopper, Justin? I've forgotten who our 1-stopper was.
Daniel Thomas, I think, is probably going to be the leader.
Yes, he's our leading 1-stopper, but down in 13th at the minute. He did put after 14 laps. We will now do 15 laps, I suspect, until the end on his tyres. So interesting if he can steal some points on somewhat of a contra strategy, I would say. I'd say a 3 or a 2 is quite common. The 1-stop is quite rare. It's quite a long way to go even on medium tyres.
Worth pointing out, I think Cesar Navarro actually, you were saying that he was coming out just behind Peter Mann, but Cordier actually just kind of snuck just ahead of him as well, too. So he ended up coming out in 8th position, and then Dimier we saw overtake him in Sector 2, and then Autosport has demoted him now down into 10th position. So Autosport is clearly running well. Cesar Navarro is on medium tires, so he is going to be a little bit slower compared to those soft runners of Dimier and Autosport. But yeah, Cordier just narrowly inched ahead of him. It is very, very tight between this trio of Cordier, Dimier, and Autosport. It's very, very close. About 0.6 of a second separating all 3 of them. It's looking like Autosport just trying to get by. They're not using any sort of boost. Let's remind ourselves of their boost usage. Courtier's got none or close to none. Dimier's got a little more than half still remaining, and Autosport's on a very similar level, actually, as Dimier. And it looks like Dimier's not hanging around. He wants to get by Courtier before they get to the DRS zone, and he has done that indeed. So the Frenchman overtakes the Frenchman for 7th position. Autosport will still pick up the DRS here. I wonder if we'll see them use any boost to try and make the overtake off of Courtier. Or will Courtier actually have enough from the DRS to get back ahead of Dimier? And no, it's not quite going to be enough. It was very, very close, as now Autosport follows Nicholas Carrasco into the pit. So Carrasco and Autosport both pitting at the end of lap 17 here, Alex.
It's a bit early, actually, from Autosport, certainly. Carrasco, I think he is on a similar strategy. It's interesting. Not the strategy I'd have chosen. As I said, I would have gone 10-10-9. I like to do my longest stints at the beginning of the race when you're in traffic anyway, have a bit more fuel, and then just have lighter at the end. But it's quite early, that is. So Carrasco did 8 and 9, and Autosport have done 9 and 8. So they're both on a similar strategy. They're pitching the same lap, of course, just then. So it's going to be quite a long haul to the end. We have got Carrasco on medium tyres, so that makes a lot of sense. He will now go 11 laps till the end. But Autosport have come back out on the soft tyres, so I hope they've calculated their fuel correctly, and that they're not going to have to pit again. Let's not forget they did that at the last race. They had to pit on the very last lap because they just ran out of fuel, so just had to do a 1-lap stint at the very end. So hopefully they haven't made the same mistake, and they have now corrected for that, because they are currently running quite a bit too short, about 2 laps too short. So we'll have to wait and see on that one after the strong pace they've shown. Let's hope that isn't the case, as Jake Thompson is now about to DRS straight past them by the looks of it on his medium tyres. Not quite there again, DRS just not quite powerful enough. And just checking out the strategies once again here, Justin. And Chandler Saiter, once again, P1, who is leading our 2 stoppers. He will be stopping very, very soon. He did 9 laps on his first stint, so I expect him to do 10 on this one. He has already done 9. So end of this lap, I'm expecting pretty much all of the soft runners in. Felix Cabanes could potentially go an extra 1 lap, I believe. So next lap or two, I'm expecting to see most of the 2 stoppers in.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. End of 19, end of 20 are probably going to be the most common laps for those 2 stoppers. We did see Insaurralde making his way past his compatriot of Cesar Navarro. And Dimier and Courtier still in pretty close proximity. Courtier does pick up the DRS off of Dimier, but not Dimier doesn't get it off of Coleman. As actually, I've just noticed that the 3 French managers are all running in a line right now, Alex. Coleman, Dimier, and Courtier all running in. And they've all just been promoted 1 spot, so they're now 4th, 5th, and 6th. So running very, very close to one another. Nicholas Pressy is closing up to the back of Insaurralde, I think. He's managed to get by Cesar Navarro too. I didn't. That must have happened while I was focusing on something else, but he's managed to get past Cesar Navarro as well. So it seems that Cesar is not having a great time out there at the moment. Again, he is going to the end on this set of mediums, we suspect, though, after completing 15 laps during his first 2 soft stints. This is a difficult one for me to predict as far as who's gonna finish where. Saita is clearly looking good, though, with that 4-second gap down to Cabanes. Peter Mann, though, looking to relegate Cabanes, is going to pick up, and Saita is into the pits here at the end of lap 20, and Peter Mann does make the overtake on Felix Cabanes, who also peels off into the pits at the end of that lap. Will we see any of the French managers come off? Yeah, we will. We'll see Coleman and Dimier come into the pits as Courtier continues for another lap, followed in very close proximity by Insaurralde and Pressy. Those 3 have tightened up and really started to spread their wings and fly away from Cesar Navarro. They're lapping quite a bit quicker, over a second a lap quicker, comparing Pressy's time to Navarro's last lap. And actually, Saita has come out just behind Navarro, Alex, and with a full boost bar.
Yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye on here. Jose Luis Navarro, interesting strategy. So he started on the super soft tyres, did 6 laps, then went to the medium tyres, did 13 laps, and I was on the soft tyres till the end to do 9 laps. So using all 3 tyre compounds there that people are going to use during this race. So really interesting strategy from him, and that'll be interesting to see where he's going to come out. He is now, of course, out till the very end of the race, as a lot of this field now are. Peter Mann, let's not forget, has got to pit again. He will be pitting, I suspect, very soon, because no, he won't be able to go to the end on these tyres. He did 9, so I suspect he'll pit at the end of this lap would be my best guess.
I'm wondering if he's going to go. He might go to lap 24 and fit another set of super softs at the end, was what I was thinking about. 5.995 potentially.
Yeah, well, he's already done 9. Oh no, sorry. Yes, you're right. I was looking at the wrong thing. Yes, so he's only done 7 laps. Yes, you're probably right there,
5, 9,
Justin. I was
10,
looking
5,
at the wrong.
something like that.
Thinking
Yeah.
he'd already done 9. Yeah, I was thinking he'd already done 9 laps on his softs, but he hasn't. He's only done 7. You're quite right there. So I think you might be right. And the gap between the two then is 13.9 seconds between Chandler Saito and Peterman. Pretty substantial gap. So we'll be interested to see these sector times just to see how they're getting on. First sector, Saito was 2/10 slower than Peterman, and we will wait just a few more seconds to see the middle sector, which will be a better indication, I believe. And hopefully Chandler Saito across the line. Yeah, it's identical middle sector. So very similar lap times, but let's not forget Peterman will be lightning fast at the end if he is indeed going to come out on the super soft tyres. And little update on our championship leader then. He is still way down the back. P14, Nicholas Morales. Currently leading our championship, runaway leader actually. He's currently 18 points, I believe that is, ahead of everybody else. But yeah, no points this race. He's along with 19 seconds off Autosport, who is still holding their own in 13th. And just had a flick to Autosport on my screen, Justin. And they're in a great battle, P8 to P12, or P13 rather. All very, very close. So Autosport have got a great chance at some points again, hoping that they haven't fueled incorrectly here this race.
Yep. Yeah, that's the big question when it comes to Autosport. But yeah, they could be on for a points finish. As Alex said, it is very, very tight. Let's just have a quick look at the boost levels of all of these guys. Autosport still has a little bit to play with. Not a ton, though. That might be enough to, help them make an overtake, something like that. Dimier has a little bit more, probably about twice as much boost as Autosport. Nicholas Pressey still has half of his bar still remaining. Incerralde is completely out of boost, as is Cordier, and as is Coleman as well, too. But that doesn't change the fact that Coleman is still lapping very, very quickly. Let's just look at the sectors. Yeah, 1/10 quicker in Sector 2. I think he may have used some boost there in Sector 1 to get that purple Sector 1 time of a 31.1, because that is very, very quick from Nicholas Coleman. He is, in fact, closing up to the back now of Jose Luis Navarro, who is behind the one-stopper of Daniel Thomas. So Daniel Thomas is still in 6th position. I have to say, though, with the harder and older tires compared to the likes of Navarro and Coleman, I'm not confident in Thomas's ability to maintain this 6th place, especially considering, Alex, he's got more than 5 laps still to go in this race.
Yeah, exactly. I think he is now going to be falling down the field, but let's remind ourselves that everyone is now on the same fuel level, and he is on the harder tyres, so his tyres might hold up. He might be okay, but he is going to struggle. And I suspect he will fall back into the clutches of the lower points-paying positions. And it looks like Peterman has now come into the pits. So if you already mentioned that, Justin, just 1.1 seconds back from Cesar Navarro now. He did go for the soft tyres, so you were right in your predictions. Apart from the compound, he went very, very close in your prediction, but he did pit at the end of lap 23, I believe it was. So all over P2 now, so expect him to make that overtake. He will be on very fresh tyres. Cesar Navarro has already done 9 laps on his medium tyres. They won't be going off the cliff just yet, but they'll be getting towards that way. So I'm not expecting him to his tyres to last too much longer. I expect to see Peterman overtake him. Then the interesting part will be if he can do anything about Chandler Saito. 2 laps fresher tyres than Chandler Saito, so Chandler Saito's tyres will go off slightly earlier than Peterman's. I suspect Peterman actually, his tyres potentially might not go off at all. And I'm just going to run myself off the boost level. Chandler Saito has managed to save about 3/4 of his boost. Peterman has used all of his boost. So I suspect then, looking at that, I'm going to put myself out there and say that Chandler Saito has got this win in the bag just purely on boost level. He's got an awful lot more, as well as having his sort of nearly 5-second lead over P2. So looking very good for Chandler Saito at the moment. And as you said, Justin, there, Daniel Thomas just right in the clutches of Jose Luis Navarro now, who looks like he might make an overtake.
Yeah, Peterman did manage to make the overtake on Cesar Navarro using only DRS, and it looks like DRS is going to be enough for Jose Luis Navarro to move up ahead of Daniel Thomas and up into 6th position. He's got Carrasco ahead on mediums, and Carrasco's actually lapping pretty similar times compared to Navarro. In fact, a little bit quicker than Navarro, so I don't think Carrasco is going to... Once again, the 2 Spanish managers are in the top 5 of Cabanes and Carrasco. Those 2 really like being in the top 5. But yeah, Thomas dropping down a position. Coleman on soft tires is lapping considerably quicker than Daniel Thomas. In fact, I'd say it's very possible with just over 3 laps still remaining. We still have yet to finish lap 26, and then we've got 27, 28, and 29. So about 3.5 laps still to go in this race, and I think it's very possible for Daniel Thomas to slip down the order. Now, he does still have a lot of boost. I've only just noticed that, but Daniel Thomas does still have a lot of boost with which to defend, so he could still finish in the points, but he has a lot of soft runners and even a couple of 3-stoppers behind him that are all going to be lapping very, very quickly in the mid 31s compared to Daniel Thomas's high 32. So he's probably going to start deploying some boost here, I would imagine, if only to keep up with the back of Jose Luis Navarro and try and pick up that DRS to try and defend from the others. As we see Pressy now getting very, very close to the back of Inceralde. He is applying that pressure quite a bit, not using any sort of boost or anything like that. Again, Pressy does still have boost, whereas Inceralde doesn't. Which makes me kind of surprised that he's not just getting on with it, because he's very clearly being held up by Inceralde. Probably coming out of that hairpin there at turn 5 is where I would have boosted to try and get my way past Inceralde, because clearly Pressy is the quicker of the 2 cars. Dimier pretty close behind. Autosport has been dropping off the back of that battle for what is now essentially 7th position. And Dimier is actually going to make the overtake on Pressy. So instead of Pressy overtaking Inceralde, he's been relegated down a position. But Pressy actually gets his way back past. Everybody's going to pick up the DRS. Daniel Thomas still leads this train. Up at the front, though, Felix Cabanes making his way past Cesar Navarro, moving. So the Spaniard moving ahead of the Argentinian up into a podium position for Cabanes. Navarro drops down into 4th position. Is he going to be coming under threat from Carrasco? I think he might potentially. I don't think so. I think he's going to be safe from Carrasco. So we probably won't see any more changes of position in the top 5, I don't think. But now Cordier moves his way past Coleman. Lots of boost usage going on in this battle for 7th position. Coleman slips down into 10th position. And yeah, there is the boost usage for Daniel Thomas, Alex. He's down to 50% usage. Still has about a lap and a half still to go. Can he hold on to this 7th?
It's going to be very close. And I tell you what, if he gets DRS, looks like he is going to give DRS to a lot of the guys behind. But there is a long way to fall from 7th all the way down to 12th position. So he's going to need some serious defending here. And it looks like Cordier has got lots of DRS. Is going to overtake him? Not quite. DRS just not quite powerful enough on these cars. Obviously, Fazlari back into the pits again, so clearly not a good race for him. But as you said, Daniel Thomas currently holding on to this. This is the last lap of the race. Can he hold on to it till the end? It is going to be very close. There isn't a lot of overtaking opportunities, and I'm just going to remind myself of all the boost levels. The guys behind him, as I'm sure you've already mentioned, Justin, have got no boost at all. Dimier's got the tiniest bit of boost, but not enough to overtake. So I think looks like Thomas is going to save, probably, if it was me, all of your boost for the DRS zone, and then just hope for the best from there if he can stay ahead.
Yep. And we're getting there really quickly, making our way through 7. Just a few corners still to go as we see some boost usage there from Daniel Thomas coming out of 7 and into turn 8. Nicolas Pressy all over the back of Valentin Cordier as well. In fact, he could be threatening with the fresher soft tires because he's on that 3-stop strategy, of course. There's the rest of the boost for Daniel Thomas. There's no more for him to defend with. It is going to be Chandler Seitzer that picks up his first win of the season with Peter Mann in 2nd position, the 2nd man in the championship standings. Felix Cabanes is going to complete the podium. Here comes Pressy. It's not going to be enough for Cordier to make his way past Thomas. It's going to be so close. Pressy just gets Cordier as they come up to the line to sneak that 8th place. It was very, very close. I would love to actually see what that was, and we can actually get that confirmation of how big the gap was. We might do that after the stream. Maybe I'll tweet that out and let you guys know exactly how close that was. But it is going to be a first win for Chandler Seitzer. An unbelievable drive for him, actually, to finish 3.4 seconds ahead of the next car. And then another 6.4 seconds down to Cabanes. So Seitzer and Peter Mann really in a league of their own. Cabanes, in the end, was over 4 seconds ahead of Navarro as well, too. And again, our championship leader, Nicolas Morales, doesn't score a single point. I don't think he was here, though. I don't think he was here.
I have to say that, or maybe he didn't do a setup, or, you know, we've seen him be very, very quick in the previous races. As you said, leader of the championship by 18 points, no less, and then suddenly to be P15 second to last seems a bit out of character. So I think he must have either not been here or not a chance to set up or something like that. I think must have affected him. But either way, it's good for us because Peter Mann was in 2nd place, 18 points behind. And guess how many points he's just scored there, Justin?
18 points.
There it is. So, yep, they are now. I just got confirmation on my screen now. I'm sure you get it up in due course. But Nicolas Morales and Peter Mann now level on points for the championship, 94 points apiece. So we couldn't ask for more, really, could we, at this point? And it almost seems like we paid Nicholas Morales there, doesn't it? So just to make the streams a bit more entertaining, make the championship a bit closer.
Yeah, you would think that, but no, that is not what we have done. Yeah, I think him and Fazzolari were both absent for today's races, given their two-stop medium strategies. Or actually, didn't Fazzolari actually come in for a third stop onto a fourth set of mediums? So yeah, that leads me to believe that they probably weren't able to make it. Oh, there we go. We're just getting the refresh now. And now we can take a look and see what this has done to the standings. I'll get rid of that and bring this up. So yeah, it is 94 points, but Morales, I assume, just with more wins or more podium finishes, he does still lead the way. So Morales is still leading. Peter Mann now level on points. Nicholas Carrasco only 11 points adrift of the top two, sitting on 83. Cesar Navarro still holding on to that fourth place position incredibly with 76 points. He is actually only 7 points back now from Nicholas Carrasco and only 18 points back from the two leaders. Chandler Saita holds on to fifth. So he actually, with that win today, he didn't move anywhere in the championship. He's still fifth in the championship, but he is now sitting on 69 points and he's only 25 points behind Nicholas Morales and Peter Mann. Valentin Cordier actually doubled his points haul from the previous race in only his second race with us so far. So he's got 3 points now compared to the 1 point that he had after the race last time out. So I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that. Did we have any other big movements? Jose Luis Navarro moves up another position ahead of Nicholas Pressy. So they swap positions. Jose now up into 10th, Pressy down into second. Very, very close, though, between those two, and Johan Dimier as well in 9th position, who now is behind Felix Cabanes. Felix Cabanes actually moving up quite a bit. He was in 9th going into this race. He's now into 6th. And I mentioned during the broadcast, Alex, that he has been very consistent. We haven't really seen him on the podium, I don't think. Maybe one podium. No race wins for Cabanes yet, but that consistency moves him up into 6th with 47 points. So, but once again, another race that has really shaken things up in the championship.
Absolutely, yeah. And speaking of consistency, I think we need to give a shout out to Peter Mann, who is now jointly in the championship. Again, just down to consistency. That's all he's done. He's not just been, as Nicholas Morales has, one race and then outside the points. He's just been consistent, and there he is, right at the top. So it will be interesting to see if he can kind of sort of maintain that and keep the championship fight up. And we should give a mention as well, a shout out to Autosport, who unfortunately didn't quite manage to get a point, so they are now still in 16th in the championship. A little bit disappointed with them. They did adjust their strategy though, Justin, so they didn't have to pit again, so they've got that going for them at least. But yeah, it's not great for them, and hopefully they can do a bit better next time out, because we really want them to see it get at least 1 point. Surely they were so close to this round.
Yes.
And fantastic progress since the last round. And
yes.
Can the next time out be the time? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, very, very close, as you said, and a big improvement. I think Monaco was almost a step backwards for them. I think it really threw a curveball for them, and they really weren't expecting it. So I think Monaco was a bit of a shocker, but now back on form and better than ever, actually, after today's race in Turkey. As we saw, they were involved in that battle. After we were talking about that, I did notice that they had the oldest tires out of everybody in that battle. So unfortunately, it didn't work out. That last stint on the softs, just going a little bit too long, I would say, but otherwise looking very, very strong. I think even if they had fitted a set of mediums for that final stint after doing the 2 shorter stints on the softs, that could have potentially gotten them into that lower points area potentially, or at least a little bit closer. So, but as Alex said, definitely improvement from Monaco and really starting to threaten those lower points positions. So hopefully next time out will be even better. Speaking of next time out, the next race is going to be in England, and that is going to be at the new version of the track, the updated version of the track, which was released earlier this year in 2019. So I'm sure people will be looking forward to that one. In particular yourself, Alex, I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was just disappointed there you didn't do your British accent, Justin. I've heard that a few times. We've been friends for a few years now, and I know you like to bring out your British accent, but hopefully we'll see that in the stream next time out.
Yeah, maybe I'll prepare a line to say in British for the next broadcast. But yeah, that's going to do it for the 7th round of the AOR iGP League. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been an absolute blast. Really, really enjoyed that race, and really looking forward to round 8 next week, which will be for the British race. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.